Hello and welcome to the Bloke on the Range Christmas Special 2019 and new FAQ and stuff. Now, as you may be aware, I'm one of the least Christmassy people on the planet, so I have not covered my bald pate in hat, whereas Monsieur Le Chap here is very festive.
Oh, don't you think you got off too lightly?
What? No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
If needs must.
Kinda.
In other news,
he looks the part.
In other news, Christmas spirit in my house usually means 46%. First of all, we're going to start off with some thanks to people. We have the best fans because they bring us things like this.
Yep.
This was Gavin who came to the Bloke on the Range Bolt Action Challenge and beat Chappie here with his own rifle by
a point.
I'm
still forgiven him.
This is Welsh whiskey. This is Penderyn. You'll excuse my atrocious accent, and it is in fact 46% Christmas spirit.
Yep.
Now we did actually do a bit of a taste test the evening of the Bloke on the Range Bolt Action Challenge, but you'd bogged off somewhere and were not present, so you hadn't had the pleasure.
This is my pleasure to taste it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pleasant.
You wouldn't know that was 46%.
Yeah, that's very smooth.
That's potentially quite dangerous, which we'll see. The other two things on here are also from awesome fans, and once we've got through this, I'm sure we'll partake of some of them and thank the people involved. Now, it's been quite a big year for us.
It has.
We've done a lot.
We have done a lot, and a reasonable amount of travelling compared to what we've done before.
Mm-hmm.
We've got UK, Finland.
We did a project in the UK in July with Neil of the Works with Gun Room, lots of sort of corny sketches and
silver screen debut,
things like that. Then I did Finnish Brutality, which was absolutely awesome. Thank you very much to Carl of InRange and the guys at Varstolika for organising that and inviting me along. It's brilliant and will be repeated. In fact, next month I'm going to Desert Brutality in Arizona, which brings on to the fact that we need to thank our patrons in particular, because the budget we sink into this,
it's getting bigger and bigger.
It's getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Let's just say that we sink personal money into it as well, beyond what we get from YouTube ad revenue, which is nowhere near as bad as it had been. It's actually picked up a bit.
Yeah.
But Patreon is the big...
It's essential, yeah. Really.
Absolutely essential. A lot of what we do, we split 50-50 Patreon or channel revenue and personal revenue. It's a hobby. We're not doing this professionally. It's a hobby. It can cost money. That's fine. The fact that the channel contributes keeps things nice and calm at home with the with the wives.
Doing this channel, it improves your negotiation skills considerably. When you have to, oh look, my safe is suddenly full
of things.
I don't know, no idea. They're just there.
Yes. So thank you very much for patrons, not only for funding the channel and keeping it going, but for not getting us murdered.
That's it.
Because otherwise, I think that words would probably be had every now and again, and it really does enormously help that we can fund this without worrying too much about it.
Thank you to the patrons, and thank you to our dear wives.
Absolutely, our long-suffering wives and kids who we drag along to the range as well.
That's it.
Kids. Well, I think the last one that was there was your daughter.
And she took part, which was okay.
Yeah,
which was fine. But generally they don't mind because it means they get to spend hours on screens.
Yeah, and go to McDonald's on the way home.
That's it. Bribery gets you everywhere.
Yeah. So, sort of on a personal note, it's been a tough year, real life work wise, and there's a lot of stuff that we'd pre-filmed that I haven't managed to get out yet. Part of the sort of general last in first out policy is necessity, because I've kind of a stressful day job with a high workload, and I try and minimise the time. Editing sucks. I finally convinced him.
I'm now doing my bit.
to edit his own stuff, which is great. Previously, he pre-edited it, which was easy. That then became my low-hanging fruit to quickly finalise and upload. That was great, but he's doing it all now.
Yeah. Computer's struggling a bit, but it manages it.
Yeah. So we haven't been to Valet. We haven't been to Sion this year, unfortunately.
No.
Sorry, we've still got backlog from previous years that we're working through, but
there's a list of things to do there. So when we do get around to it,
the Tikka needs to be mad minuted properly, not at 300. That is, it needs to be close up. How fast can we fire more or less aimed shots at a good aiming mark? Definitely, there's other stuff. There's some stuff we need to redo because sometimes you get home and you find that you didn't actually press record or something like that.
And now I've got a shiny Lebel. We can mad minute that properly.
Yep.
Enough cases that won't run out of ammunition as well. So that should be interesting.
I've actually got some rifles that I think I bought in 2018 that we haven't actually used in published videos yet.
Oh wow!
So there's basically we've got a massive amount of ideas that some of them we've even filmed that will form the basis of videos, and so the plan for the channel is basically onwards and upwards, and I'm kind of hoping that one of these like quarters we're going to actually be able to save enough budget to get that accelerometer I mentioned a while back to do some stuff with that, but not yet. The budget is still floating around 0 plus minus. I also have one permit under the old law, which I might spend. So we shall see. Anyway, we decided what we'd also do, aside from thanking you all for watching, and particularly patrons, and if you haven't become a patron, please consider doing so, because, as we said, it really helps us to do this. The FAQ video that's on the front page dates from 2016.
Yeah, must be about that. I think
must be about that. So we thought that we'd kind of use this Christmassy opportunity and our Christmas spirits to redo some of that. So let's start it just like we started the old.
Without gunfire.
Yeah, no gunfire in the background this time. No dog walkers walking past and say, "Yes, James Bond." Sorry, it was a Dutch accent.
Yes.
Anyway, so we'll start it exactly like we started the old one. We haven't got a list. We've just got questions that are asked all the time. So,
question number 1.
Where do we live?
Where do we live indeed? We live where this comes from.
Yeah. Switzerland. We live in Switzerland. So we get a lot of questions like, I thought semi-auto rifles were banned in the UK.
You are right.
You are right. And then people will sometimes follow that up with questions like, so how have you got it then? I'm like, because not in the UK.
Yes, because we would voluntarily publish the fact that we have semi-autos in a place where it's illegal to the world.
Yep.
But yes, we are comfortably in Switzerland for me it's 8 years, and you just over.
Just over. I've just broken 8 years now, yeah.
Yep. Likewise, yep.
Specifically in the Berner Oberland, Canton Bern in the mountains, although you are definitely moving.
I am definitely moving.
Although you're staying in the Oberland.
I'm still in the Oberland, just a little bit lower in the Oberland.
Yep. And I put in an offer on a house yesterday. That's sort of down in Seeland. In fact, the neighbour would have actually appeared in a video. I'm not going to say which.
Oh yes.
The roofs of, if not the house itself, but of the neighbours will have actually appeared in a video.
Shot in the vague, shot at the vague vicinity of it.
Yeah, basically. Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But fingers crossed. By the time you watch this, we may have had the offer accepted. I'm waiting to hear back, but I will hopefully be moving. We're moving away from each other, unfortunately, which is.
Yeah, but I think it's we're not round each other's places all the time.
No, it's not that close.
In fact, we are two different people.
Yes, that's common question.
This is not green screen.
No. There's no chroma key. There's no split screening. Look. We are in fact two different people. We are not brothers. In fact, we were not even born with the same nationality.
We're genetically different, unless something dodgy happened in Agincourt.
That was a long way back. But yes, I am British by birth. You are British by Act of Parliament.
Act of Parliament, that's it. Genetically, I'm 100% French, as you can hear.
Yeah,
and
you can hear when he speaks French, though, because when he speaks French, he speaks it with no more accent than he speaks English.
That's it. The same accent.
Yes, whereas when I speak French, it's with an English accent.
No, I hadn't noticed at all.
Liar.
So yes, this explains why I can suddenly switch entre deux langues comme ça sans sérénité. And yeah, there you go. I mean, the hints were there.
Some people spotted it, but there were certain hints. I mean, we have a certain number of French firearms lying around here. I mean, we've got a Mass 36.
We have another Mass 36.
We have another Mass 36, and unless you're Ian of Forgotten Weapons, who would own 2 Mass 36s otherwise?
I object to that kind of comment.
Well, we do have a martini there.
Yeah.
So yes, the big secret there is that Chappie is actually...
I have 2, so I have both nationalities, just to tidy everything up.
So next question is, have you taken Swiss nationality? And the answer is that we have not been in Switzerland long enough, either of us. It takes 10 years to even be able to ask for it. So
and then there's a whole process after that.
They're not quick,
no,
apparently. So we shall see.
When the time comes.
When the time comes, we've got another 2+ years. And because we're moving, it probably resets a 2-year counter as well.
I mean, fundamentally, the difference at the moment is that we can't vote.
And we could be deported.
We could be deported, but
if we did something very, very naughty.
Yeah. But aside from that, we have the same rights. So
yes,
it's not that big a
permanent
deal.
residency, so the equivalent of a green card, gives you almost the same rights as a Swiss person, Swiss national. That's actually another thing that comes up: is can you, as a foreign national, own guns in Switzerland? The answer is that as soon as you've got permanent residency, which for Europeans is normally after 5 years, although some cantons apparently put in further requirements.
Oh.
Gavin, not that Gavin, a different Gavin. Take the language test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to realise that Switzerland is a federation. It's not unified completely.
Citizenship actually comes from the commune. And on the basis of the citizenship of the commune, you have citizenship of the canton and citizenship of the confederation.
That's it.
It's kind of the opposite way around to most countries, where you apply to the feds. In Switzerland, you apply to the commune.
There was an interesting story a few years ago about a Dutch lady who applied for her citizenship in a small commune, and at the same time put in a petition that cows should not wear bells because they disturb her sleep.
Oh, and it's cruel to the cows to make them wear bells.
This was not a good idea.
The commune turned down her request, and she actually had to go to appeal, and the canton overturned what the commune said. But basically, she had put her foot into one of the big Swiss traditions, which is cows having bells.
Yeah.
Because according to her, it was cruel to the cows.
Cruel to the cows, yes.
Yeah.
There you go. What other questions do we have? There was a basic rundown of how to apply for guns, but we've done that in the...
Yeah, and the laws changed, and I'm going to do... Once everything's settled down, because we're still... They sort of rushed it. There's going to be some slight cantonal differences. Oh yeah, FAQ. No, they did not take our semi-auto rifles away.
Nope.
There's just administrative légère de main. They've introduced a new type of permit. Fundamentally, aside from a few very, very minor hoops, nothing massive has changed. I still have one permit unused under the old law, but I can't extend it beyond the 14th of February. So I'm going to have to use that.
Going to have to go shopping online.
Maybe. We shall see.
The sales in January.
Yeah. But we'll do that as a thing. I'm going to do that with Ines Kessler from Kessler Auktionen in Eastern Switzerland.
They have a very sharp eye on things.
Yes. So we shall, and she will have the view from the eastern cantons, and I've got the view from Bern, who are like, we don't have the budget to do anything more than the minimum.
And also, of course, they have a dealer's perspective.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But what happens is that the instructions that the dealers get sent get circulated online around collectors clubs and things, so we get to see. Everyone gets to see the same stuff if you're hooked into the networks. Which,
at the moment we get forwarded so through collectors associations and things. We get forwarded Q&As that various cantonal polices have had with hunting clubs and that kind of thing, and it's clear that everything's not pinned down. There's a lot of open questions. Police are struggling with. Let me get back to you on that.
Yeah, and it's not worth doing a video on it until 90% of it's been nailed down. There'll always be borderline cases afterwards. but fundamentally there's still just too much fuzziness there. In the big lines we know.
Yeah. If you're just shooting nothing exotic, nothing, there's no difference.
I mean,
really.
the big lines. I mean, if you want something shorter than 60 centimeters, you're going to have to say you're a collector. But it's shall issue, so it's going to be a collector, and then you're going to have a basic safe storage requirement, which is probably going to be a random gun safe bought in a Home Depot type place. I mean, there's no approval, and really the cantonal firearms office is just overloaded with this stuff. We'll deal with it when there's actually some clarity on the actual details. Otherwise, we'll make the video and we'll be inundated with questions around fine details. Yeah, and we don't know.
We don't know.
It's that is for next year. Next up, where did we meet?
Since, as we have ascertained, we are two different people.
Yes, we had to meet somewhere.
Well, it was a foggy night in Wateringen.
In Holland.
And our eyes met across the gun racks.
Yep. Your missus was talking to Ton Donk of Wapenhandel Donk.
And he said, why don't you talk to one of your colleagues there?
What?
He's walked in the door.
Yep.
This was working for a company of about 3,000 people, so it wasn't surprising that met.
Yeah, I worked on the 22nd floor. He worked on the 8th floor.
6th
floor, sorry.
6th floor.
Long enough ago now, I've forgotten.
The building doesn't even exist anymore.
No, they knocked it down.
So it was, he does guns too. So, okay, how'd you do? And
And how did we end up moving to Switzerland at roughly the same time?
Semi-coincidence.
Semi-coincidence.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd always wanted to move to Switzerland because the first time I came here, when I was a student, I actually came here with Richard and Jim of British Alpine Rifles to shoot an Oxford versus Cambridge varsity match on proper pistols. And I came over, I was the only one from Oxford, and a couple of people from Cambridge came over and touched the ground at Geneva, and it was bright and sunny, and there was very little graffiti, and it was very clean, and the exchange rate at the time was very much in favour of the pound. So even as a student, it was like great, and you get these this like train ticket costs compared to the UK practically nothing because of the exchange rate.
The trains work,
and it works. It's on time, and it's clean, and it doesn't smell of pee, and the people aren't surly, and it's nice. And
what in Geneva, the people aren't surly.
Well, on the trains they weren't.
Okay.
Sorry.
Joke.
Yes. And I thought this is great, and we came up to Berner Oberland. My first ever night in Switzerland was spent on top of the Niederhorn over there, and I thought this is great, and this is like my life goal to move here. And immediately after graduating university in 2003, the market in the UK for graduate engineers was pretty bad. They were offering...
It was 2001 as well.
Yeah. Well, there was always the joke that in 2003 they were sort of offering what by rights should have been entry-level posts for an entry-level salary, but requiring 2 years' experience. And the joke was, well, how are we supposed to get these 2 years' experience? Be born 2 years earlier. Obviously.
Nope.
No, it was pretty bad. I tried to apply to a few places in Switzerland, and I just never got a reply. But an opportunity came up in Holland at our communal employer. They were hiring, and went there. Well, yep, might only be able to own 5 guns, but they can be quite varied.
Yeah,
very varied in Holland at that point.
Actually, before I moved from the UK, I was in the process of applying for my FAC, and then moved. So I had no feeling of missing out or restriction or anything. It was just all right. I'll just go into the current system as it is and enjoy it.
Whereas I had my FAC before I had my driver's license, so I could own guns before I could drive a car on my own.
That's a good a good achievement. You should put that on your
on my CV. Yeah, definitely. Right. Anyway, you nick that. Neck that.
Nick. Yep.
Daniel of Valmont Firearms in Sheffield, and I'm sorry we can't link, YouTube rules, we cannot link to your kind of establishment, but I'm sure people are entirely capable of Googling it for themselves.
Yes.
So Daniel of Valmont Firearms sent us over each one of these nice little
flasks,
leather-bound flasks,
yep,
with something Scottish in it, I believe. Did he tell you what it was?
It's Irish, isn't it?
Or Irish?
Black Label something.
Not Johnny Walker Black.
No, I can't remember what it was. Anyway, it's very pleasant. Because I've got one and I've almost finished it. So it's revenge for starting that one early without me.
Well, Gavin was there. It was in my pad. It was your fault for going home instead of coming and staying at mine. So this is my first taste test because I've not had the pleasure of this one yet. So thank you very much, Daniel. Sorry we didn't make it to your place when we were over in Derbyshire, but we were kind of pressed for time and it was kind of the wrong way. It was like north and our airport was south.
And the state of us, you really wouldn't have wanted us in your house after that filming.
Daniel, sir, you have very good taste. Thank you. Whatever it is, that is excellent.
Slightly smoky flavour, this one, I find.
It's slightly medicinal, perhaps. You can taste the alcohol a bit more. That is just superbly smooth. I mean, there's no way to describe that other than just super smooth. Smooth. That is great. See why that's...
it's distilled like rocket fuel.
Yeah, it was 46%. But I see why that is one of the most popular Welsh whiskies. So
that's how we met. Oh yes, so that was you saying your FAC, you got your thingy. My incursion into Switzerland was perfectly happy with the job, with the type of job I was doing, the function I was doing, but it was highly specialised in one area. I wanted to continue what I was doing, but more varied. And I applied to various countries, and Switzerland was the first and probably the only one, but I stopped looking after that. The first one that replied positively, accompanying the Confederation came to my call.
Beamte.
And and I thought, why not? We spent a summer holiday with when our son was still little in the area of Bern, so we already knew the area, and thought, why not? It's a chance of a lifetime. It was also with the kids schooling, all that, or starting school. It was basically... It
was a now or never. I mean,
now you move, otherwise you're stuck in the system.
I mean, our oldest kids were born exactly 4 weeks apart. Again, we did not coordinate this.
That would raise some questions.
That would raise some serious questions. This was not coordinated in any way. But my daughter was born exactly 4 weeks to the day before his son. So the same considerations with schooling applied, and it was a sort of at the point where the first kid was about to enter preschool, which is compulsory, and you do it on your 4th birthday in Holland.
And at the time, I suppose it still is, the school system there is utter chaos. I never got my head around it.
Oh, it depends on where you are, and an interesting system, but that's not the subject of this. But yeah, sort of an amalgamation of sort of forces acting at the same time, and a bit of, because your first choice was,
it was what country?
Yeah,
it was going to be New Zealand.
Yeah.
But they were honest. They said, we'd love to have you, but you'd get bored. All right, fair enough.
So
the US was another possibility, but they never got their head around the fact that they need to sponsor me to get there.
Yeah, actually, Tab got a job offer.
Yeah.
From a company in Virginia.
Yeah, in Alexandria.
In Alexandria, just outside DC.
Went there. I met the CEO. Very nice chat. We'd love to have you. When can you start?
3 months. No, I've got a 3-month notice period, and you need to apply for a visa for me.
Yeah.
So you can start in 3 weeks then. 3 months notice period.
Yeah.
And you have to apply for a visa for me.
And this
sponsor a visa.
This went backwards and forwards for about a month. It
was clear that they were not serious, because they just couldn't get their heads around the fact that you can't just up and move to the US.
Yeah. There you go.
So that was that one fell through.
Yeah, sorry, that was indeed, that was a lie. It wasn't the only one that responded.
No, they responded, but were just not serious in understanding the bureaucratic implications of what they were saying, or the implications of a 3-month notice period.
There you go. So that was that. And, yes. So now we're onto now we're in the Christmas spirit. I will dampen it just a little, if I may, to offer a toast to 2 people. Firstly is my father. He passed away in February, and it's thanks to him that I've started shooting at all. There's a little vid in the pipeline about exactly what I was shooting with him. Probably semi-legally back in the day. You can't get him now. And so yes, a toast to Dad.
To Jean.
Jean, santé.
Santé.
And he did like his whiskey too.
Yeah, he was a good lad.
Although peaty, he liked a good peaty one. And second is my uncle, who passed away just recently, and he is the one that got me into black powder shooting, because he was an enthusiastic black powder shooter in Chambéry. He was part of a club with a very fancy name, Chevalier de something. And he was, when I was in the UK, I was basically, my mag was the Perdisoli catalogue.
I'm going to have to bleep that now. Jeez, you're making my editing difficult.
And and he was, you should really go for it, and they're great fun to shoot and all that. So that's why I'm addicted to the holy black.
Once you snort black, you never go back.
Indeed. So Yves, à toi. Yes. There we go.
Right. Ooh. FAQ.
Ah, yes.
All right.
I've got both there.
Waffenfett, Automatenfett. Swiss stuff. Is it magic?
Yes.
No.
It is.
Why is it magic?
Because magic is all about belief. And people believe this is magic. Therefore it is.
Yes. So Waffenfett is like beeswax and tallow mixture, and Automatenfett is just, well, there's 2 types of it. The really modern stuff that's really black.
Yeah.
Like this is literally just a lithium soap grease with moly in it. In fact, you can look up the spec and you can find off the shelf substances that are close enough for government work. There's an earlier one. It's often in metal tins like this, but labelled differently. That's slightly green. I believe that one was a graphite grease back in the day.
Okay.
But literally,
never seen that one.
I've got some Strumgo 57 cleaning kits that have it in. There's no magic to it. It's just green.
He's an unbeliever.
I'm sorry. I'm a heretic.
Doesn't
so
even
burn me at the stake.
And yes, that's all they use to clean their guns.
Clean, like
And
literally.
why? Because it works.
Because it works, and people worry too much about cleaning. I mean, most of my guns I clean by putting a ball snake with Brunox through them.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then maybe once every 500 rounds or so, I give them a bit of a more thorough clean. But beyond that, I've seen more guns destroyed by over cleaning. I mean, I've seen grooves cut in the corners of chambers with someone bending a cleaning rod like that,
or even worse, on the crown.
Oval-shaped crowns from people pulling pull-throughs at an angle. Like, do the minimum. Sorry. Yeah. People have been asking me, do a video on how you clean. Like, it's boring, literally. Ball snake,
You'll be
Brunox.
sorely disappointed.
You'll be sorely disappointed. There's literally no excitement there. I do the absolute minimum.
Yeah.
Brings on to another question that comes up a lot. Why have you got bolt actions when you can own semi-autos? First reason, because they're cool.
Second reason, we can have both, so
yeah,
why restrict ourselves?
Third reason, that's what I grew up with in the UK, because I was 7 when the semi-auto rifle ban came in, so that was just not a thing. And they're far less cleaning.
Yeah, there is that, yes.
There's far less going on in them. Literally, I get home and I put a ball snake in and pull it through twice with some Brunox on it. And if it's a 30 cal or similar, I put a patch on the ball snake covered in Brunox. And there is a slight advantage of living at altitude with 40% humidity most of the year. So I don't have to worry about rust. So I can put really, really light oils
Oil
like
down.
like Brunox and just leave it down. In fact, I'd have to put anything down because it's so dry. It's not Arizona dry, but in European terms, it's dry.
Well, I've still got lots of iron and stuff in my collection, so I do put a dehumidifier in the room just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah.
And when you move to a lower altitude,
I don't know. I'll see how it goes. No, I don't cover them in oil anyway. I just keep them lightly oiled. I've got oil which a gunsmith in Bern, Poirier, recommended to me. It seemed to be a local brand, which works wonderfully. Light coating of whatever it is, and
you know what works awesomely for both lubrication and protection?
What would that be?
10W40 engine oil, recommended by Matu, previously of AETS. Yes, it costs next to nothing. You buy it anywhere. Its cleaning properties are pretty poor, but its lubrication properties are pretty good, and it feels very much like the British Army oil in terms of slipperiness, viscosity, slipperiness. It doesn't have detergents in it like OX21, if I remember rightly, the British Army stuff. You wouldn't know, having not come in contact with the stuff, which probably means you're not going to get finger cancer or something. But it's got a good slipperiness. I use it on the Sten and the Bren and the Scorpion and the bolt actions. In fact, it's there's no reason to pay over the odds for like magic grease based on Venezuelan beaver cheese and what have you. I'm sure you could get a good deal on Venezuelan beaver cheese if you were offering hard currency these days.
Unicorn up to you.
I'm going to have to beep that again. Jeez.
Yes. Yes, you mentioned now your familiarity with British cleaning products. Why?
Well, because I was a epoxy CCF cadet at school, and then epoxy UOTC, the University Officer Training Corps officer cadet at university. And after the first year, my attendance of that was poor for two reasons. One of which, I was asked to be liaison officer for the Canadian Cadet Rifle Team, in which I accepted I was allowed to do that in lieu of annual camp. I was supposed to be paid for that, and they never paid me. I was supposed to be paid for that and get bounty, because it was going to be giving me enough days in the year for bounty, and they didn't even pay me for it. That got me kind of sad.
That would be enough to...
It was a not insubstantial figure for a student. It was a reasonable whack, because it was like 2 weeks worth of work at full rate. And then it clashed with rifle club at university, and so I stayed nominally on the books for a couple of years, but my attendance was poor because basically they promised me that they were going to pay me for doing that liaison officer work with the Canadian Cadet Rifle Team, and they didn't. So when it clashed, I felt little obligation. So yes.
Still, it means that you had the delights of the SAT.
I did have the delights of the SAT, the end of the A1 era. The two I had actually were fine. So one during MTQ1, sort of basic training, and I had another one when I turned up to shoot competitions. Both of which ran fine. I had exactly one stoppage with the first one on blank. It was a stovepipe out the side. Otherwise it ran fine. Lots of other people had much greater difficulty because I think they seem to want to cut a corner with getting the rifle inspected by not actually lubricating it after cleaning. So they were running them dry. Yeah.
I can see that would be a problem.
Yeah, those things are running right... Prog rock reference, they're close to the edge. If you get that reference, we can be friends. Yes, indeed. Yeah, they're running them basically dry. Those things are... I mean, when you think an AK is overgassed and oversprung just so that it can just plough through
anything,
stuff,
yeah,
dirtiness, bad manufacturing, and so on. SA-80s or the A1s run right on the edge, both ways. Like the springs and the gas system, they're just like not quite man enough for either of them. They like certainly in my experience, they seem to like to be well lubed.
Yeah. So it's strange because I spent 3 years at a basically military university as a civilian, RMCS, which no longer exists.
Royal Military College of Science, Shrivenham.
Yes.
And I went to one of their socials, and it was carnage. After him, probably 2 years after.
Yeah, because of me, yeah.
After he left.
Anyway, so yes, I benefited from the service tax-free bar. Thanks for that.
Yeah, it was super. It was crazy cheap.
But I never saw a single S80. We had tanks rolling by during past the lecture hall, but never any small arms. At all.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was odd. You present yourself to campus every day with barbed wire around it, and to show your pass. Or apparently, reputation says that one person managed to get through by waving a piece of toast at the guards. But that may be urban legend.
Well, at this juncture, I'm dry.
Hang on.
You're behind.
Yeah.
This was brought by Jens to the Bloke on the Range Bolt Action Challenge as a gift. It is
proper Russian vodka.
Platinum vodka. Ooh. I can just about read Cyrillic. It's kind of handy when you're into militaria and stuff to at least be able to read the markings on things. Apparently, it is.
It's got a drip.
It's okay. Got to check this.
It's what?
Where's the percentage? 40. Okay. Sorry, I'm sceptical whenever anything has anything resembling a drip.
Okay, pause fine. Yeah.
So
I'm not a vodka man, so this will be interesting.
So Jens actually shot an Israeli 98K in 7.62 NATO, where the magazine had clearly not been fettled for the different cartridge taper, and he had a bit of a hard time. So,
but A for effort.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think you made the footage, did you?
No,
but
a brave choice.
He was a brave choice, and he was working very hard.
It was not the bravest choice because somebody had an M95 Mannlicher carbine in 8x56, so it had been re-reamed later. This was very brave.
He actually shot quite well, at least at 100.
At 100 he shot well, at 200 he missed, missed some. That's good though. Good vodka has flavour.
It does.
And that's smooth.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's pretty much nailed the FAQ type things. Ramble. This is going on for a long time. We're enjoying ourselves anyway.
That's it.
So next year, 2020, we've got quite a lot already planned.
Yeah.
I'm going to Desert Brutality, as I mentioned earlier, and the plan is that I'm going to shoot in retro with Carl's SP1, which is the sexiest retro civilian AR-15 variant. Like, sort of, can I please, can I? Of course. When you got a Browning high power, of course. So I'm going to go dress nominally for Borneo about 1962.
No short shorts then.
No, I'm not. We're kind of hoping that Rudy will. He's coming.
We'll cover that area.
So Rudy will cover the short shorts area.
Yeah.
I must thank Stonker of the Army Rumour Service for donating me 3 sets of jungle green trousers, which miraculously shrunk over time and no longer fit him, as he put it. So thank you so much. I will make sure to thank you again when I'm wearing them on the range. Currently putting together the rig for that. I've got an Indian repro maker making me a jungle shirt that should be close enough for government work. Gonna have to go for modern American jungle boots because the original British ones are unobtainium, and when they are obtainium they're not in my size, and they're all the rubber's all petrified and horrible, so that's just not going to happen. In fact, later in the conflict they wore American boots, but just got to be the modern ones. Sorry, I'm not a reenactor. Sorry for the purist guys. I'm not a reenactor. Mad props to Rob with British muzzleloaders for getting the whole reenactment thing bang on. I can't quite push it that far. Particularly in this case, it's like, okay, I can justify an SP1 being the semi-auto version of what they were using, because the Brits were the first people to use full auto AR-15s before they were M16s in combat, and they basically bought in an ongoing manner whatever Colt had on the shelf. So you get the very early 601, 603 variants, the prong flash hiders, then you get the cage flash hiders, and then later they were buying M16A1s, and they turn up as late as the Falklands or late into the 80s, and then they bought Canadian Demaco C7, M16A3 type. I think they were even in A3 config before the M16A3 was a thing. So looks like an A2, but it's a flat top with a Picatinny rail and full auto, not 3-round burst. And if you, like me, grew up with stories like Bravo 20 the Gulf War, they were Demaco C7s that they were running at that time. So I'm really looking forward to that. I've been doing press ups and lifting a kettlebell.
How's the kettlebells going?
Yes, there has been improvement.
Good.
What else is happening later in the year? We're going to do a big bolt action rifle thing in Canada. That's going to be me, Rob of British Muzzleloaders, and Rowan of Department of Southern Armament Research. We're basically getting the three Enfield YouTube's ultimate Enfielders together.
It's going to be an Enfield gush fest,
basically. And then basically we're going to see what time and budget
allows for other things.
Yeah. Let's us do.
And of course we will try and we shall do our best to do a bolt action challenge. Take 2.
Yes.
With hopefully some improvements to make it run smoother and for the enjoyment of all.
Yeah, discussions in the meantime have been that, okay, we keep the basic format, but what we'll do is we'll divide it into 2 half-day sessions. We will make the missing limit rather more liberal. So say that you've got to at least hit 5 at 100 to move on to 200. And then to avoid any issue from 200 to 300, what we'll do at the end of each half-day session, assuming we do it this way, is that we just take the top 10. So top 10 of 40.
Yeah.
So we're working on the basis of 40 per half-day session, and we'll set aside half an hour at the end, 5 targets at 300, and then do something a bit more like the entire Feldschießen, 2 sighters plus the Feldschießen, but just in 5 minutes for the Feldschießen part, which is 18 rounds in a particular course of fire. But we won't do it round by round. We'll just say, okay, the boxes are programmed for it, they'll just take you through it, put a little card next to it, and your 5 minutes start now, crack on.
Yep. And what else have we got? Well, there's Finnish Brutality.
Yes. Hopefully both of us will be at Finnish Brutality. What is it? Yeah, you for Finnish Brutality. I mean, I'm planning on going fully bolt action.
Yeah.
I want to take Franken rifle. There's a question currently with the new EU gun law whether I can take 20 and 30 round mags with it or not, or whether I'm just going to have to suffer 10 rounders. I don't really, ideally I don't want to do.
Yeah.
10 round detachable mags without charger loading, not optimal.
That's going to be.
It's hard work. Brutality is hard work. Brutality with a bolt action is hard work because shooting a bolt action fast is hard work.
Plus charger loading.
Plus no charger loading, so I'm going to have to change boxes off.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got charger loading, charger loading and detachable boxes, you got the choice. Do I whack on another 10, or do I just whack in another 5 while I've got the time? So we shall see. We'll find out. The guys from Varstolika are talking to the Finnish police to try and work out how on earth this is going to work. Literally everything is in the air. It's not just here that it's in the air a bit. I mean, even in the EU, it's certain aspects of how this is going to work are in the air.
And if I go, I will be probably taking, yes, of course, I will be taking a MAS 4956 or something else, depending again on laws.
4956, given that the charger loading for that basically doesn't work.
Yep, it's going to be 10 round mags.
You're going to have to be swapping 10 round mags.
Yep.
And stage planning, like IPSC gaming it.
Unless I can find some 20 round.
Yeah, but then there's the
round
question of
or
what
is
the
that
Finnish
then-
police say
Exactly.
regarding bringing 20
It's
rounds.
the same issue. Yeah.
Yeah, because fundamentally, in my case, I was like, okay, I've got a bolt action rifle that takes big mags, that takes AK mags. Because if they turn around and say, "Ooh, yeah, it's AK mags, ooh, difficult," well, I'll take an AK. I'll take my Chinese Type 56 AK as well.
Yeah.
So okay, I'll take Franken rifle, my Type 56, and a pistol. Assuming I can take 3, which I don't see.
Yeah.
Don't think there's a rule in Finland. Why not? In Switzerland, there used to be a two gun in and out, but it's just guns now.
Guns. Yeah.
So that's easy. I checked the two gun rule on the European firearms pass in or out seems to have dropped.
That's good. Yeah.
The number has been dropped from the law. And
pistol wise, I'd be hulking around the PA-15.
yes,
Massive steel thing. But hey, it's got 15 round mags. So.
yeah. In my case, by then I will have acquired probably Glock 17 or a Browning high power. I don't really like Browning high powers, to be honest.
No, I've tried very hard to like them. I've had 2, but
You've had to. I've never had one. We had one as a club gun.
we never got on. It wasn't meant to be.
I mean, it's kind of like the best handgun until the CZ75 comes out, and then just the improved ergonomics of the CZ75, and it doesn't look like much, but when you've got the two in your hand next to each other, and because at my club that you were a member of as well, in Holland, as club semi-auto pistols, we had a high power and a CZ75, and just the slight changes of grip profile and balance made a huge difference. And we had people who couldn't even hold the high power well enough for it to cycle reliably.
Really?
Yeah,
I actually quite like the high power grip.
Yeah,
It just goes wrong elsewhere.
but the CZ75 was more reliable, and just the little changes in the grip just made it just a little bit more ergonomic.
Yeah.
And it just went that little bit better. It was like, I mean, certainly in a World War II context, 13 rounds.
Oh, sure. I mean, it's perfectly understandable the Germans jumped on it.
Oh yeah, everyone jumped. Everyone jumped on it. I mean, English were making them.
Yeah.
Like everyone who could get their hands on a high power by fair means or foul in the Commonwealth forces did, because why wouldn't you? I mean, look at what the rest of the other Commonwealth options: Enfield, Webley, 38. Webley 455 if you've got 455 ammo in your area in the system.
Looks good in a photograph. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, like 13 rounds of 9mm versus
6 rounds.
6 rounds or 7 rounds of anything else.
Yeah.
Nope, that one's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see what goes with that. Firearms wise, I recently imported from the UK an Enfield Envoy, an L39, and a Parker Hale T4, which turned out to probably be a gunsmith made one rather than an actual Parker Hale one, and it's slightly iffy. Didn't cost very much though. Thank you very much to the seller. Didn't pay a lot for it. The import probably cost almost as much as the rifle. So the L39, which is the official army target rifle after the precision rifle shooting competition program went over from target sighted number 4s in 303 to heavy barreled 7.62. That is basically the same rifle as an L42, aside from the sights and the front sight. L42 is on a Mark 1 type action, and a L39 is on a Mark 2 type action, but that's a minor issue. So we're going to make a poor man's L42 out of the L39. No gunsmithing. We're not going to be welding or drilling or soldering or anything like that. So I have a Fulton's no gunsmithing rail coming, which is like the most solid number 4 rail. I'm probably going to buy in the new year one of the Repro number 32 scopes, which I'll mount on it. and the target tunnel, the Parkale target tunnel front sight is going to be replaced with a number 8 foot front sight, so it at least vaguely looks like an L42 on the front end. That's going to be cool, and we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I've actually already shot this one at 300 at 2 with NATO ball, Saltec, Swiss-made Saltec NATO ball, and it was very good. So looking forward to that one with a scope. I've got a spare light beach butt and a Repro cheek piece. So I can put the rifle back exactly as it was, because an L39 is a factory original target rifle, so you don't want to do anything to it. Fundamentally, the T4, the not a real T4, that counts as a nasty sporter. So I have absolutely no qualms of doing
that one.
whatever I want to that one. And what I want to do with that one, which is Bloke on the Range being entirely unoriginal, and we never make great claims of originality.
Certainly not.
No. But we do our own thing, but we allow ourselves to be inspired by others. Now, In Range have the What Would Stoner Do rifle. Bloke on the Range will have the What Would Royal Small Arms Factory Enfield do for the Canadian Ranger Rifle project if they didn't screw it up. So
big
what
if there.
Big if. It's like, if they had all the tooling, if they still existed, if they had the expertise, sorry, what would they have done for the Ranger project? And what I'm basically going to do is put a 308 number 4 into more or less the same configuration as the Tikka, but with a top handguard, because the video immediately preceding this one, so from the week before Christmas 2019,
you felt the lack of.
I felt the lack of a handguard, because when you're shooting up against a post and holding that skinny forend, but you can't touch the barrel because it's really hot, you feel the lack of a handguard. Another project, which is probably going to involve me impinging on you, I'm trying to get a second Tikka stock, and then we're going to get a block of similar wood, and we're going to see if we can bodge a half decent handguard onto the Tikka. And I am not very handy. I'm not artistic. I'm not.
I'm ready.
Yes. So the idea, and because I don't want to modify the stock that came with the rifle,
Understandably.
so I've asked a tame gun shop to ask the importer if they can supply spare stock, and I suspect we'll end up attaching it with like
PVA.
horological watchmaking screws, because there's not much material to work with, which will be useful and lead into the next. Anyone who survived this file, well done. Your lathe.
Yes. Can I do thread cutting on it? Theoretically, yes.
Well,
am I that far? No.
No. But potentially bushings that you then tap with a separate tap.
Yeah, I can do bushing.
So you can make the bushing and then tap it with a tap.
Tap it.
With like M2, M1.6, M1.
I have to get the taps, but that can be done. Yeah.
That can be done. Because the thought, ideally, would be to attach a handguard like it's done on a number 4, but I think that's probably going to be too much work, because making a band is crazy. So what we might do is locate it with pins that are glued into the forend, and then interface with holes in the handguard, and secure it at the back. There's more meat on the wood at the back with some like M3s or something, like 4 M3s at the back, but at the front it gets really skinny. So we might be down onto like horological screws or something. Yeah. And the pins will serve as front to back stability. The screws at the back will serve for front to back stability, and also
fixing
for fixing it, holding it down at the back. But it also has to be held down at the front. And we're not capable of making a band.
No.
So another option is bolting it. Or another option is using paracord whipping, but that's like the
redneck option.
The Bubba option. I'd rather do something a little more elegant.
Reasonably, yes.
And I can probably acquire a slack handful of horological screws of various sizes
from somewhere. Put in some favours. Yeah.
Make a few phone calls. I can probably do that.
I have something on this more or less a similar line to yours, but far less work. Is taking my Mass 4956 and turning it into a poor man's Mass 4956 MSE, which was the target shooting version of the rifle. They were not factory made. It was just they were just pulled out of issued rifles as being particularly accurate, and then they just got a new stock with pistol grip fitted, a better front sight, finely adjustable rear sight, and a trigger job. So that the only thing I will not be able to do is the trigger job. The rest will just be swapping out parts.
Can't you even just polish it up?
I could polish it up, but that's not what they officially did. They did do a bit further more than that.
Oh, okay.
So that obviously I won't touch the trigger group on the one I have, but I have all the rest of the parts, so I'll swap those out and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Any other projects already? I mean, other things will appear.
Yeah, that's it.
During the year.
On the Chaspo project, I have the project of trying to get the damn thing to run more than 10 shots without seizing up. And for that, I have I'm going to treat the paper with borax.
Borax.
Yes, to make it fire retardant, at least, if not fireproof. Because that back in the day they were treated with something, I don't know what, but
probably borax.
Probably borax, and then they were lacquered and all sorts. So to try, to see if I can get through a normal series without having to brush it out, because back in the day they did last longer than that, otherwise they wouldn't be a viable military firearm.
10 rounds isn't a viable military firearm.
So
I mean,
they had something in the day that was working.
Yeah, because if you look back in the Brown Bess days and in the British Rifle Musket days, they were carrying as a standard loadout 75 rounds.
That's right.
So there's an assumption that provided nothing breaks, you can get through 75 rounds.
I mean, with the flintlock muskets, it's different because they were massively undersized balls. Yeah,
but on the other hand, if your combat effectiveness only lasted 10 rounds, they might be 10 faster rounds, but when they're done, they're done.
Yeah, you're done. Yeah,
you've got a non-functional firearm.
Well, then, I mean,
Elan and the bayonet.
Then you were at the bayonet, I suppose. But yeah, obviously that's not the case. They were firing it long. That was part of the advantage over the Dreiser, is that they could fire. The Chaspo could fire at far longer range.
Keep them away.
And you can't do that if you jam up after 10 rounds.
No, you can't. You've got to keep them away for a long time.
Yeah. So obviously they had something that I haven't got right yet.
Yeah. Oh, one advantage of my house move, if it comes off, cross fingers, touch wood, is that it's 25 minutes away from the 50-metre range that has featured in many Bloke on the Range videos up to now, rather than an hour away.
And I shall be a large stone throws away from the British, what's it called?
Brunig.
Brunig, yes, but I was thinking of British Alpine Rifles, the pistol range.
Birmingham.
Yes, I should be not very far away from there.
You'll also be around the corner of Action Sport.
And Action Sport Landolt as well.
It's no longer Action Sport Landolt. It's run by Lee now.
Is it?
Yes.
I was unaware of that.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, we've had just to give you an idea of how crazy this year's been. We've had a plan to run through the British Second World War wartime pistol drills.
We've done it.
Yeah,
it sucked.
The filming was just horrible. So we ditched that. We want to do it again on turning targets at Action Sport. We have literally not had the opportunity, the time. I have the ammo all loaded for it, and in fact we're going to run it with the pistol. We're going to run it with the rifle with lead bullets so that we can shoot at a pistol back metal bullet trap, and with my semi-auto Sten.
Yep.
Run 3 is basically we need.
Are we also going to run it with our modern revolvers of choice?
Oh yes, we're going to run it with a modern revolver of choice as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yes, there's
all sorts we need to do.
Stay tuned. There's plenty in the pipeline.
There is plenty in the pipeline. We are not running out of ideas. The ideas might be crap, but it's our channel, so
that's it. You got to keep this in mind. fundamentally we do things that we are interested in, and if you like it, that's really great.
We love it. If you like it, we love it. But
So
we're not doing this as a day job.
If it's a bit weird,
We are a bit weird.
we are a bit weird.
You must have spotted this by now. So, anyway, we are in fact running out of battery on the camera, and
My
I think
goodness.
we've blathered on quite a lot. And we've gone over an hour. Tragedy. If you survive this far,
Deserve a medal.
yes, definitely,
Have yourself a generous shot of something.
yes. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. It's great. It really keeps us going. It is not easy. It is a lot of hard work, even as a side project, because both of us have proper daytime jobs and 2 kids each. It's a lot of time input. We really enjoy doing it. It has its moments, particularly when, because editing sucks. It has its moments. We can't outsource the editing because it's where we correct our own mistakes, and we make mistakes
Of which there are many.
all the time. Anyone who claims not to make mistakes is lying. And another project for 2020 is some rifle grenade stuff with Dale. We're hopefully getting military range.
Are you?
Yes, Strumgar 57 rifle grenades. That is in the pipeline. That is verbally shouldn't be a problem. We just got to get the
Using the carrots, I'm guessing.
yes the scary flying
Carrots of death.
carrots of death, of doom,
Yeah.
which we may even be able to get some with the rocket booster charges.
Ooh.
Uh,
Beef up my shoulder.
We'll find out if my Strumgar 57 still shoots straight after that. In fact, I've not fired it. In fact, this is how crazy this year's been. I have a Strumgar 57 I've never fired.
Shame on you.
Yeah, my cadet rifle I've never fired.
Nor have I, but shooting season was over by then.
Yeah, well, I've had my cadet rifle for a couple of years now, and
True.
I've not fired
No
it
excuse.
yet. No excuse. Anyway, final.
This is
note.
it.
This is it. This is. We're not coming back to anything. This is the final note for this year. Is that at this time of year, people often give pets as gifts, and you got to remember that a bullpup is for life, not just for Christmas.
Christmas.
Bye.
Bye.